listen to on Spotify today, huh? With my Bluetooth speakers and my new chair and standing desk. Like, let's go.
What about those like playlists that they make for you custom?
I gotta think of an artist that's kind of like.
Up on the DJ. That's what I.
Hey, Mr. D. He has the funniest voice. He's like, hey, let's check out your time.
My wife is
hilarious. No, he's hilarious. He's so funny. He talks to us. He's like, he knows it's really only Spotify users understand the code of which I am speaking.
No iPod in there. Maybe that's why you say Amazon music.
I love Spotify so much because you can customize it and make playlists and I love it. And it's social, so you can like have your friends on there. I love it.
Well, my kids do it, but I don't even know how to freaking.
My mom even has an account off of mine, so she can watch Joe Rogan and yell at him.
No supporters. Well, I mean, we have a lot for me that my little kids just never like logged me into it on my phone so I can use it.
Just download it and figure it out. It's so fun.
Well, what I'm saying is my kids set up the account. I don't even know the password,
You can also download your own and make your own.
Megs, I swear I am not a lesbian, but your photo is really pretty.
Thank you.
No, it's a really beautiful photo.
Yeah, I'm also not a lesbian. No supporters. I'm not either. Well, no, I love women.
You're a lesbian and everybody's body. I'm not a lesbian either, but
I'm not a lesbian. I'm a normal heterosexual.
I'm not a gay man.
yeah, trapped in a woman's body, right?
I really wonder.
Camille Paglia talks like that, speaks about that. Her book is amazing. Camille Paglia, you guys. She always says she's a gay man trapped in a woman's body. No, her feminism is so opposite of Gloria's dynamic.
I'm not a lesbian nor a feminist.
It's a pretty picture, right? It's hot.
Actually, I think I've heard of her.
She's great, Raina. I don't know, but you should maybe when you're bored, just take a dive.
Me bored? Never.
No, I know, but you know what I'm saying.
What is it? Camellia? What?
Camille Paglia? Or Paglia? Camille Paglia? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, a little controversial, but this is what women need to hear, in my opinion. Amen.
What's her, life motto, if you can put it in a sentence?
30 seconds or more.
On sexuality, development, culture, and art.
That's a good one. Read it out loud again. I was speaking.
As an American academic, self-described feminist stand for unorthodox views on sexuality and the development of culture and art in Western civilization.
But what are those unorthodox views?
I've never been a man.
Sort of pay attention to the environment around you, women, and understand that all men are not good. And stop complaining about it. And if someone harms you, take proper action and sort of be resilient with compassion. But she's just, her whole way of going about it is unorthodox. Because you're basically telling women, okay, it's just as hard for dudes. Okay. We both, it's pretty...
Specifically, she says that sexuality includes sexual attraction and romantic attraction, so it can be non-physical. And that's a form of sexuality. She's a philosopher.
Yeah.
And also she's kind of the basis for the whole gender switching thing, because she says sexuality should be a construct of society.
And the ones responsible.
I mean, it is very fluid. I don't see why it needs to be so.
For why we
like this or that kind of thing, but oh well.
Yeah, it would be really hard to put it into even 30 seconds or less or more because she's got a lot of dimensions and you really have to hear it in full context because I have not paid attention to anything gender shit for years. Like, I'm sorry, I was raising a child. I don't know what she said in the past, even like 5 or 10 years maybe, but I've always loved what she said in the early 90s and 80s. So maybe, I don't care really because I love her.
Republicans.
She honestly seems like the foundation of the whole gender sort of thing.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Relying on biology, like she's the
fluid.
These are the source of the whole sexuality can be.
We have to listen in on that to hear what she's saying about it, really, because maybe she's talking about divine masculine, divine feminine. That's in all of us, maybe. I don't know.
She's referring to like pansexuality, asexuality. What's going on with Jeff? Keeps going in and out. But yeah.
Is it a Morse code he's sending us?
Maybe he doesn't want to talk about it.
Maybe he hates her. I don't know. See, that's why I say, like, I haven't formed opinions over the past 21 years, you know. I just don't. I've been.
Well, at the end of the day, Meg's photo is beautiful, and I love the way the sky looks and the water as it goes out. That's what I get to look at almost every day, and I love that. It's a beautiful photo.
I love that too. Fuck, if I could have that view, I'd do some stuff. Definitely. But one day, I think I'll get a property in a much warmer place. That's the plan. I'm gonna just go there for the winters. Be a really good gig, I think. Oh, and that pic was taken in Mexico.
Nice.
In case anyone was curious.
Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning. I'm still in bed.
There's nothing wrong with being in bed still. I'm in bed still.
Good morning, Matt.
I'm in West Coast. It's like little 10 minutes past 7:30.
Good morning. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Got it. So, for instance, I could sell a covered call for like $1,000 price MSTR. Right. Okay, and then the premium on that would be. I don't think that's like $1. Good boy.
Anyways, yeah. So your premium would be where the market sets, right? So you're basically, if you're selling a call option at $1,000 on MSTR, you are going to get some money for that. And basically, if it does happen, where it gets to $1,000, you're going to sell your 100 shares of MSTR for $1,000, and you'll keep the premium that you also made. So you can also, but if you're going to be the opposite, if you're just buying a call option for $1,000 MSTR, or you needed to get to 1,000 plus whatever the premium you're paying to break even, basically, for it to make any sense.
Right, and I think and correct me if I'm wrong, what British Huddle was saying earlier is he would actually be buying puts.
Yes, how puts work is like house insurance, right? Let's say your house is worth $1 million, and you're going to go buy house insurance just in case the thing burns down, and it's going to cost you $20,000, for example. So you would if the house burns down, you get your $1 million, right? If the house doesn't burn down, you've just pissed away $20,000 in insurance, and the next year you do the same thing. That's how puts work for me. There's people that will trade puts when they think the market's going up or down, blah, blah, blah. But let's say Bitcoin gets to 250,000. And for me, that's like, okay, I want to protect these profits. I'm going to go buy some insurance at 250,000. And the worst case scenario, I lose that insurance money. Best case scenario, the market plummets and I make 60, 70, 80% of whatever the plummet is.
Well, and the strike price of the puts, do you usually go under, over, or at par?
Everything just depends. I normally go at par.
Okay, so whatever the market currently is.
Some people decide to sell puts at a bit of a discount to what the stuff, MSCR is right now, because they can capture a bit of premium, and then if the price goes down, they get to buy it, right? Discount. So it's all different strategies, what people do, right?
But I like the analogy of you just, let's say Bitcoin goes to like $500,000, and on your way up every 50K, you just buy a put at the current market price to lock in your sort of, you start to build up insurance on the volatility if it crashes back down to 100K or something. Right?
Yeah, well, you have to also pick a duration for the put too. That's also a factor you got to consider.
The big thing you have to understand is that these options are priced totally different based on the volatility as well. So it's very easy to with even a small move in a stock, because of just how much the volatility's changed, the pricing of all the stuff changes drastically. So because a lot of times people aren't holding these things to expiration. They're buying a call option, let's say at now, and then they're planning to flip it in a month. And they're like, well, the price of Bitcoin went up, but then there's data decay, there's the volatility has changed, and all these things can make it so that you can be completely down on your position. But you're like, but Bitcoin's gone up 10% since I bought this. And it's a very, there's a bunch of different factors, and you're going to fucking screw it up at the beginning. So if you are going to do it with very, very small positions.
Yeah. And the more volatile the subject.
I never like complimenting Chris, but he's just giving you some of the best advice you're going to get on options. I would heat that extremely tight. Hold it as tight as possible.
Thanks. But Chris, to follow up, the more volatile the topic, the more volatile the stock or the situation, the higher the prices are at the weirder prices, versus if it has really low volatility, you can get something way outside of the current market price for probably really cheap, I would assume.
I didn't quite hear the last sentence there perfectly, but it was just basically,
I was saying the higher the volatility, the more likely it is to have things way outside of the current market price to be also pretty expensive with the idea of the volatility.
Yeah, basically, higher the volatility, the higher the premiums are probably going to be.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So you kind of want to be selling when the volatility is high.
Right, so right now, selling covered calls for 1,000 MSTR would actually probably be something where you could get an okay premium.
Yeah, but I don't know what's going on with MSTR and how many people are shorting it like crazy, right? So there could be a lot of people on that side. In normal market conditions, that's correct, but I don't know if there's a lot of short interest against MSTR.
And if I want to see the entire short interest against MSTR and the entire long interest, is there does TradingView have something really easy for you to just see all that in one view?
Listen, man, fucking options are a minefield. You are going to get your fucking ass handed to you if you don't do this extremely carefully. Please do not fucking try this.
The thing you'll see is that you'll see Bitcoin drop 5%. And if you have say if you take a full Bitcoin and put it all into call options or something like that, and Bitcoin drops 5%, your portfolio could easily be down 60%. And in a couple weeks. You know what I mean? Right. Whoa, how did that little of a move cause me to lose this much money?
right? Or Bitcoin completely be flat and your options are just completely falling off a cliff. So it's just kind of
right. And what we're talking about so far, just to be clear, I'm not talking about buying calls. I'm talking about selling calls or selling covered calls.
Yeah.
So this would be I'd be on the opposite side of this, where my risk is just I didn't make as much, you know.
For sure. I understand that. You're just thinking about that. There's just
yeah, I got you.
You want to almost, if you're going to be doing this, you should also know what the pricing is like, and being able to determine what, calculate. There is different calculators.
Also, you need to check the updated tax. I think that they do not yet in the United States consider that. I don't know what they do in Canada. Consider that a constructive sale when you buy puts against the position you hold. But with normal securities, you're paying capital gains because that's considered a constructive sale. Gotcha. So factor that in.
We definitely factor that in because that can get really expensive on your Bitcoin games.
I would just say that if you're trying to do this as a strategy for your entire position, you probably don't have knowledge, and it would be hard for you to acquire the knowledge to get it right this cycle. If you want to play with it a tiny bit of money just to kind of understand how this shit works a bit, that's different. But I'm saying don't use this as a way to hedge your portfolio until you really know what the fuck you're doing.
Well, I like the idea of the two things that we talked about here, which is covered calls and buying puts as insurance. So I like these two kind of ideas, which I think are relatively low risk in terms of how you can wreck yourself.
You don't know if the options are priced correct. That's one thing.
The way I consider it is any insurance. Do you feel like this is a ripoff for this premium of these puts? So I would just kind of think of it the same way, I guess, right?
You have to have
puts that you buy would be considered a total loss.
You have to have a view that their pricing is right, which you versus the people who do this professionally.
Well, I can also just go for do I have appetite for it at whatever price, right? So that would be
you're not actually grasping there's so many factors that affect the price of these options. So if you don't really know, and the market's not completely sometimes there's a lot of spread in the market. So it's not the most liquid instruments all the time. Especially when you're going out of the money, right? If you're going $1,000, you just don't know if you're paying how well priced this option is. So until you can actually really figure out if this is the well priced option, you don't know if you're ever, even if you're correct in direction, you could be completely wrong because it's priced wrong.
But again, we're talking about just not making as much money just because I priced something incorrectly for the covered calls at least.
Right, and if you're trying to do the covered call, if you can do it, it's peak. When you think it's peaking the price, then you do sell the covered calls because that's when you get the most premium. And if you look right now, if you try to sell MSTR at 1,000 at the end of December, you'll get a 2,300 premium. And that means selling whatever your MSTR shares at $1,000 a share, they're going to give you $2,000 just for doing that. $2,300.
Yeah, I'll just do this for the rest of my life and just pay my mortgage for the rest of my life doing this, I guess. Okay, but yeah, Chris, appreciate, and whoever was just talking, thanks for the info in British as well.
It's Vinny Kitover. Thanks.
Every system it touches. Many going out of greed and self-interest. Others out of fear, all with ambitions of power. There's a saying, when the devil ignores you,
Damn, Rumble's up 13%.
So this is a Bitcoin room on Clown House. And Hodl is
They're probably going to announce something. If this moving like this, Rumble.
I joined in the Rumble and Marathon when I heard that they're going to be doing what MSTR is doing. I know although British, although you said it's not going to be the same, but it kind of FOMO'd in.
Man, I wanted to die behind this shit here, boy. I wanted to die and kill one of these niggas. One thing about right, if you ever see a nigga tell a lie so good till it sound like the truth, and if I told you the truth, you don't believe the lie. One of my favorite quotes to this day. We'll pull you back together. You can feel when people don't like you. They don't have to tell you. You can feel it. You can feel it. God is not punishing you. He is preparing you. Trust me. The truth is, if your absence doesn't bother them, come back, I still need you. Did you know that if you were born like a couple
There's that
years earlier,
MSTY
you have to live
stock, and
outside?
then I think that thing is doing covered calls in itself. But if you look, its performance isn't doing as well as the underlying shares. We just held on to the shares. So, like doing that strategy, like even for them on the MSTY, they're not doing that well to selling covered calls.
Oh, interesting. So you can buy MSTY and they're automatically doing the covered call strategy best they think is like the best they think, like to do, like to structure it, and they kind of suck at it, or compared to just holding MSTR.
I mean, that's my understanding. Yeah, I don't know what their strategy is exactly, but yeah, it's not doing that right. It's up a little bit, but it's not that.
Well, you're going on this rabbit hole and you learn about options maybe too well. In the end, you'll realize you're probably better off just fucking, continue to fucking go develop and just buy Bitcoin and sell some when it makes sense. And you probably, that would be the end goal of this whole venture.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That definitely, you're 100% correct. I am here for the fun degeneracy of just doing this and experiencing life, and I definitely plan on going back to coding and getting back into under my rock after this.
Yeah, Tidwell, for you to buy MSTR at 3x, for example, for you to double your money, it would have to trade at a 6x premium, right, in the future. So that's kind of doesn't, that's kind of a little bit irrational in my opinion. Or you could buy it at spot and just have 100%, that would be a double. So you don't have to necessarily have a 6x premium to make 100% on your money.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well the other day, or yesterday, where, these things go to, what would it look like if it went back down to like 1x MNAV? It would mean that Bitcoin's price triples and MSTR's price stays the same, or something similar to this. MSTR goes down 66% and Bitcoin stays the same, right? So, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, obviously MSTR is benefiting from the FOMO and, the AMC, GME, the excitement. And we've had this throughout history, of course. And, can it last? I mean, he's doing everything right. There's a high demand for bond funds. These pension fund managers need yield. There's, the trillions now in pension funds, and all these companies and pension funds, hedge funds, well, not so much hedge funds, but pensions, like government pensions, police pensions, firefighter pensions. These are all multi-billion-dollar in every city, almost every large city. And all these people have investment policies where they have to invest. And I can guarantee you 95 to 99% of these investment policies do not allow them to buy spot Bitcoin. So how do they get exposure to Bitcoin? They're going to go out and buy the bond, or they're going to go buy MSTR, because they can't buy straight up Bitcoin. they might not even be able to buy ETFs. So it's an easy way for these companies and these large funds to get exposure. And eventually that will subside, and I just think the MSTR premium will come down below 2. And so I think at this point it doesn't make sense, because if I can buy it at one time, if I can buy it at spot, I don't need MSTR to go up 6x premium to get 100% on my money.
Did you see Adam back said 2.5 seems low or something?
I mean, historically, stocks, have traded at 1 to 3 times market cap to sales, right? That would be a price to sales ratio for companies. That's kind of what you can value it on. A lot of companies that have like high margins, like Walmart and all that, they like retail companies sell at one times revenue, and like your Googles and all that might sell at 3, 4, 5, 6 times revenue. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense to sell at 6 times. I mean, I think sometime 1.5 or less for MSTR would be appropriate.
I think June said it also called Adam Beck a degenerate when it comes to investing.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just thought it was funny because before this, I didn't even look at Adam Beck's, in terms of this perspective, and then, and then like obviously like he tweets, I'm like, oh, he talked about MSTR, like.
Based on his tweets about trading and all that, I do think he trades quite a bit, Adam. But keep in mind, he does not live in the United States. I don't think he has tax implications at all.
Where does he?
I was
where he
going to
lives?
ask you
Like, what
guys.
country?
He's in Malta.
Andrew just brought up a very interesting point. With the new Treasury Secretary favoring tariffs over taxes, and you guys talking about these option trades, does that new policy change actually make it more bullish for this activity or less? Because I haven't heard anybody talk about that.
Just trying to.
I think it's an interesting question, but I don't know enough. From what I know, tariffs have to do with imports, exports, goods exclusively. I don't know if it applies to financial markets.
Well, what I was saying, Andrew, I'm thinking about when you make trades like this, you always consider taxes. Income taxes are going to be eliminated for tariffs. I would think that would shape one's ideas about at least the next calendar year in terms of the option trades on MST. Idea to actually do make the option trade. If Radu was on here, he'd probably be the guy that'd be very interesting to talk to about this, because he's probably sitting on a shit ton of capital gains. And if his income tax goes away, that's a big reason not to actually pull anything off the table just yet and just see what this Treasury Secretary does in the first 100 days.
Yeah, I can see that thinking. It's bullish.
Buddy, young that none cannot do aught unto me. This is why Demetrius said to Nero, it threatened you with death, but it is nature who threatens you. The beginning of philosophy is to know the condition of one's own mind. If a man recognizes that this is in a weakly state, he will not then want to apply it to questions of the greatest moment. As it is, men who are not fit to swallow even a morsel buy whole treatises and try to devour them. Accordingly, they either vomit them up again or suffer from indigestion, whence come gripings, fluxions, and fevers, whereas they should have stopped to consider their capacity. In theory, it is easy to convince an ignorant person. In actual life, men not only object to offer themselves to be convinced, but hate the man who has convinced them. Whereas Socrates used to say that we should not lead a life not subjected to examination. This is the reason why Socrates, when reminded that he should prepare for his trial, answered, thinkest thou not that I have been preparing for it all my life? In what way? I have maintained that which in me lay. How so? I have never secretly, openly done a wrong unto any. In what character dost thou now come forward? Is a witness summoned by God. Come thou, saith God, and testify for me, for thou art worthy of being brought forward as a witness by me. Is aught that is outside thy will, either good or bad? Do I hurt any man? Have I placed the good of each in the power of any other than himself? What witness dost thou bear to God? I am in evil state, master, I am undone. None careth for me, none giveth me aught. All men blame, all speak evil of me. Is this the witness thou wilt bear in due dishonor to the calling wherewith he hath called thee? Because he hath done thee so great honor, and deemed thee worthy of being summoned to bear witness in so great a cause? Which thou have men speak good of thee, speak good of them. And when thou hast learned to speak good of them, try to do good unto them, and thus thou wilt reap in return their speaking good of thee. When thou goest into any of the great, remember that another from above sees what is passing, and that thou shouldest please him rather than man. He therefore asks thee, in the schools, what didst thou call exile, imprisonment, bonds, death, and shame? I call them different things, and I call them things indifferent. What then dost thou call them now? Are they at all changed? No. It is then thou that art changed? No. Say then, what are things indifferent? Things that are not in our power. Say then what follows, that things which are not in our power are nothing to me. Say also what things you hold to be good, a will such as it ought to be, and a right use of the things of sense. And what is the end? To follow thee. That Socrates should ever have been so treated by the Athenians, slave. Why say Socrates? Speak of the thing as it is. That ever then the poor body of Socrates should have been dragged away and haled by me in forced prison. That ever hemlock should have been given to the body of Socrates. That should have breathed its life away. Do you marvel at this? Do you hold this unjust? Is it for this that you accuse God? Had Socrates no compensation for this? Where then for him was the ideal good? Whom shall we hearken to, you or him? And what says he? Anytus and Miletus may put me to death, to injure me is beyond their power. And again, if such be the will of God, so let it be. Nay, young man, for heaven's sake, but once thou hast heard these words, go home and say to thyself, it is not Epictetus that has told me these things, how indeed he. No, it is some gracious God through him, else it would never have entered his head to tell me them. He that is not used to speak to anyone alas. Well then, let us not lie under the wrath of God.
Most people would be emotionally attached to listening, to learning, changing their mind. If we took the narrow path, which is engaging in a manner of very strongly steel manning with people, and more than steel manning logic and science, steel manning people's emotions, how beliefs, worldviews affect us in our day-to-day life. Yeah. What do you, the role
Oh, you're not a fan of the music? Why not? Are you hungry by chance? I got something for you. Here, I got some hot dogs. I'm going to the store. Can I get you something to drink? I'll get you whatever you want. Just water? That's it? Okay, awesome. Okay, you're going to be here? I'll be right back. I'll get you a water and a gift, all right? Get her a big bowl of water. And then I just gave her something to eat. I'm going to get her something to eat later. Alright, I'm going to have to do that. It's too hot out here. Bottle of water and something to eat for later. There you go.
Thank you.
What was your name? Yeah, definitely.
Koya.
Dakota.
Nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
it's good to meet you. So you're staying cool, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, one thing. If you had anything to say to your younger self that was positive, what would it be? Anything.
Nothing happens for no reason.
Nothing happens for no reason. Hey, I like that. Steve, that's Steve. I hope that helps out. Is there anything else I can help you with? I did say that I was also going to bring a gift back for you.
Oh, yeah?
Is there enough money for a couple meals? Get yourself a sandwich tomorrow or something? Oh, of course. Yeah, well, you gotta get on it. Have a good night. You hungry by chance? I got something for you. Here, I got some hot dogs. I'm going to the store. Can I get you something to drink? I'll get you whatever you want. Just water? That's it? Okay, awesome. Okay, you're gonna be here? I'll be right back. I'll get you a water and a gift, alright? Get her a big bowl of water.
You touch somebody's daughter, our family, I don't care who you are, daughter, mother, granddaughter, goddaughter, whatever, you touch somebody, somebody's daughter in our family, I don't care who you are, daughter, mother, granddaughter, goddaughter, whatever, you touch somebody in our family, then I pay you a visit. And I don't care who's with you, because whoever's with you, they interfere, they're going the same way. You touch somebody in our family. Granddaughter.
To face whatever it is critical for you to just, be honestly be free. I don't like the sense of being locked in or bondage or tied up, or that's more so like the closed-minded. They're boxed in, they're closed in, and they don't have this freedom. There's no freedom. But yeah, I would like for people to exercise open-mindedness so it can help them understand what they were taught all their lives. And it helps them ask questions. Just ask questions. I don't even want to waste your time. Don't you get it? Can definitely free your mind. I don't want to waste your time. I don't know. Closed-mindedness just reminds me of what you were taught when you were growing up. And it doesn't challenge your beliefs or beliefs that it just doesn't challenge it. But yeah, I appreciate it. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, thanks again. So, yeah, so this is the way I tackle this question, right? And for me, it's all about self-regulation. You can put it in a spiritual, scientific, philosophical way. I think we can resonate in all worldviews. Because a person who is well regulated, a brain that is not easily triggered, will be able to sit and listen and digest the information and reduce the inferences that other people are making, or that you're making about other people's discourse, right? Ultimately, hopefully giving you the ability to actually sit through speaking and listening and learning without going into fight mode, into I'm right, you're wrong, or what you're doing is going to take you down a dark road of nastiness. And so, for me, my greatest realization in the last few months has been it's all about how well regulated we are, how much self-control, what our ability is to push our own boundaries to a degree and to listen to someone without having this reactive reaction and saying, and then digesting, right? And then seeing how you can relate to it. And then yes, I think to me this is the first part of what is this to labor through with people. And the next step is, but this is what I've come to, and this is why, and these are my resources. This is generosity of saying, you know what, I know I don't hold the whole truth. I might be very convinced what I believe, but I know humanity doesn't work in a way that I'll be able to convince others or to change people's minds by just engaging, no matter how lovingly and kindly I'm engaging. I have to understand that we are all hardwired, and changing our minds is something that's not easy to do. But I think that's the way I would approach your idea of being open-minded, right? Being relaxed-minded, mind-regulated. So that you can engage with people and not react in a way that will turn a conversation into a conflict.
What he heard on the voicemail when his dog daycare called his owners.
I want to give you a quick update.
This dog was shocked when he heard on the voicemail when his dog daycare called his owners.
I want to give you a quick update.
book. I read it in 2009. It helped with my serious open-mindedness back then. I asked plenty of questions, but they were to myself. I didn't ask other people, and whatever question I had, I wrote them down. But this book was one of those stepping stones to where I'm at today. But yeah, it's a really good book. I actually love the title because the word God and delusion together is automatically a fight, you know? But I love it. Dawkins, he has his way of breaking it down, which, you know, I could have did the same thing because, you know, we share the same sentiment within the book. But yeah, it's back to having an open mind, you know, pretty funny. We all have the same way of thinking almost, and we don't even know each other. But yeah, it all stems from asking questions. I'm actually here to listen to the rest of the book, and yeah, thank you for reading.
It's my pleasure. Hope to see you next week. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, that's what I said at the beginning of these final thoughts on what we had read so far. It is a provocation, and in my estimation,
He's such a nice guy, isn't he?
An approach that recognizes skeptics and scientists and people who are already on board with God being more of an illusion.
There's only one thing in this world that will love you more than itself.
A fact.
Your dog.
And the approach I would take, or I tried taking, is one of enhancing communication, one of connecting with people, and then sharing the facts as I see them. And actually, I find that it's, you know, with practice, you can be quite effective. But I don't think my approach at least is to take off or start with an attack, right? Even a question. It's the approach of IQ, right? You go with the flow, you use the energy of your interlocutor, you create a common energy, you move forward. And I think what really matters is when you can promote in a relationship, which is being self-regulated. I can't emphasize that. Having the self-control to promote the virtues that are implicit in most traditions. When you've overcome rivalries and tribalism and all these other things that are quite pernicious to human communication. With that said, I do need to shut this room down. I appreciate everyone's company. Next week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be reading Chapter 4. Thank you, Joey.
So, what you doing over there, Noah? Say about Russia?
I can't really say.
Oh, shoot. He's putting together that plan, baby Steve. How long are you there for?
Couple weeks.
You know, you just arrived?
No, I've been here a week.
Oh, okay. Is it nice over there?
Oh, very nice. I was outside swimming in the snow the other day.
What the hell? How can white people do that?
Yeah, we white people are nuts.
Was it cold or what?
Yes, it's cold and snowy. It was snowing while I was swimming.
Like, how does that fucking work? You don't get sick afterwards?
It's fun. I did actually get a little cold, but I'm over it now. Oh, Normal, why are you such a... I don't know what to say. Well, figure it out. If you feel some kind of way... I want to be nice about it, but I want to forget to you. No, you don't.
Oh, here, I figured out the word. Why are you such a smart?
I don't think you know what that word means.
Use a word that you know.
I can use the context clue.
What did he call you? A smart what?
I say schmuck.
Oh, I like it.
We've heard the term for like literally decades. We can easily understand from the usage. It means somebody who is like an idiot, near do well, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you assume they didn't know how the word, what the word
Because
means?
you used it incorrectly, and you said
You
it
are
wrong.
a schmuck. You are a schmuck. Why are you a schmuck?
Well, first of
I'm
all,
not using it correctly.
use a word that, listen,
In my opinion of how you behave. How can I be wrong?
you know what they call a person who doesn't know what schmuck means? They call them a schmuck.
Okay, so what does it mean?
Look at this schmuck over here. Doesn't even know what a schmuck is.
What does it mean if it doesn't mean idiot or near do well? Go ahead. What is it?
Ask. I know you looked up on Google. Say what you're really trying to say.
What does it mean if it doesn't mean a near do
Go
well?
back to it. Go back.
Moving off the plane. Moving off the plane, ladies and gentlemen.
No. What am I doing?
Moving off of the claim.
Oh, no, I'm not moving off the plane. No, I've been accused of many things. Nobody's ever accused me of being an idiot or a ne'er-do-well or a schmuck. And you know, and I know you didn't mean that, so
I don't think you're an idiot
if you think that. So,
okay, let me ask you this, El Normal.
Yeah.
What have you said that demonstrates that you're not a schmuck?
Oh, well, almost everything I say. I'll give you a few examples. In trying to figure out the abortion debate, I organized it into 3 lanes. Let's listen. I tried to organize it into 3 domains: the legal, the theological or religious, and the medical. That's an example. That was just today. Then I also figured out why black folks have so much.
Was I there? Was I there?
I don't know. Who knows? I don't even know who you are.
All right, here's a perfect example why you're a schmuck.
Sure.
Why would you use a situation where you don't even know if I was there to evaluate your schmuckiness?
Well, I gave you all the data you need to evaluate it. But again, you may be incapable of evaluating it, which adds to your schmuck factor. I do, and you clearly don't get it. So you can't hear what I'm saying. You're just trying to talk.
I don't get it.
I understand that you don't get it. So how do I explain something to an idiot or a ne'er-do-well? How do I explain it?
I don't know why you would use an example of you not being a schmuck where I wasn't present for you to have demonstrated.
I don't know who you are, but I am. I told you what I said. So you evaluate. Oh, I see. So what you're supposed to do is evaluate what I said. No, I'm in the song.
Well, nothing to evaluate. You made a claim. I did.
Yes.
What's the fucking point?
So
what's the point?
The
point is that he is demonstrating that he's a schmuck whilst trying to prove that he's not a schmuck. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm not trying to prove anything. I was just trying to educate you on a topic, but you were too loud to listen. And I don't want to.
Take that to be the same.
You were so loud. And
I take to be.
You were so loud and full of bullshit that you couldn't even ask the question, but you couldn't. You asked the question, but you couldn't even listen to the answer. A true schmuck, in fact.
I take educating and demonstrating to be synonyms in this context.
Yeah.
So again,
I was demonstrating to you a way of thinking about abortion, but you couldn't listen. You didn't clearly open your head.
You made a claim.
So did you hear what I said?
Yes. You said that you looked at abortion in 3 different lenses. Theological and some other lens.
Yeah. But that's the opposite.
Did I ask you, was I there? Did I ask you if I was there? You said, I don't know.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's almost like, all right, so look, it's almost like if somebody were to say, I just took the SAT and I scored a perfect score.
No, it's not almost like that. I gave you an example of something that I said.
And I said,
all right, listen, you know what? I got a girl waiting for me. You're yeah, you have a nice day too. Your head is filled with concrete. You are truly a
concrete. What's the
that's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta say, Concrete, you really, I mean, can you actually prove in 3 sentences that you're an intelligent person? Try to prove it.
Look at Edmund, what's up, bro? Somebody told me that you had made your last account since you got booted off, and here you are with yet another account.
I put out misinformation all the time on this app. You haven't figured that out yet?
If you're just saying that you reneged on your prior statements, then yeah, I have figured that out.
Well, Mike Moon is here. Mike Moon is a fan of my artwork. He's a harsh critic, though, but he's a fan. I have many fans and many harsh critics.
What kind of art do you do?
I do art. It's spelled A-R-T.
Yeah, what kind of art do you do?
I do many different forms of art.
Yeah. Do you compose music?
Yes.
Do you design clothes?
Yes.
Do you work with paintings?
Yes.
Sketches?
Yes.
Sculptures?
Yes.
Statues?
Yes.
Anything?
Yes. You might say that what we're doing right now is considered A-R-T.
Oh my gosh. He thinks he's being clever, ladies and gentlemen.
I asked you a sentence if you could prove you're intelligent in 3 sentences.
Who would I be trying to prove it to?
To yourself, to your listeners.
I don't need sentences to prove it to myself. So, great try.
Okay, so you're incapable of answering a question.
If that's what you got from what I just said.
Okay. So I would like to propose that this room be a Friendsgiving. You know, I don't have anything against anybody here personally. I think everybody here is a fine, outstanding clown house, medicine. And we should all really see. I knew Concrete would leave. So anyways, Oscar, Mr. President of Clowntown, what are you doing for Friendsgiving? Manville, are you going to arrest anybody before Thanksgiving?
Oh, I'm sure.
How many people have you arrested in your life?
Couple hundred.
You know, my dad was a cop for 30 years, and one time I took his handcuffs and I slapped it on my wrist, you know, like in the movies. I almost broke my fucking wrist. That shit's solid steel.
Did you have a key?
Yeah. Yeah. He got angry with me once because I took his cuffs out of his belt. He's like, don't touch those. Do you know how fucking dirty those are?
Well, you try to, like, disinfect them, but, you know.
Yeah, but his shit was probably like 20 years old. I mean, I don't think he touched it unless he had to. I know he probably cleaned them, but, you know, just saying. Maybe he was just fresh off the beat.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Handcuffs are way more uncomfortable than most people probably would think they are because they're heavier and the edges of them digging into your wrist. It's not a good feeling at all.
It's definitely a pain tactic.
I mean, it depends. The newer handcuffs definitely more uncomfortable.
So they make them even more? Because the reality is they don't have to be made that uncomfortable, so I get the feeling that it's partly on purpose.
Yeah.
The ASP handcuffs are more rounded and larger, like you keep your hands further apart. They're much more comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, there is
I feel like they're sharp on the edges so that you can't pull on them real hard.
The purpose is control, really. I mean, they're mass manufactured and they're deburred a little bit, but they're not like going over each one and polishing every handcuff and making them like super smooth. Like you have to work on them yourself to get them to operate smoothly.
they suck.
But they are close together to give you control. Because if the hands are too wide apart, then people can move their body too easily.
You know how I'm 100% sure that there is a connection somehow linguistically with words, forwards and backwards. And it only works with certain words, like cuff, which means fuck, backwards. There's other examples like dog and God, or exit and ticks. I mean, any word that has a meaning backwards, I'm sure there's a list. I don't know what that's called in linguistics, but,
I don't know either.
So I gotta say, police brutality, like I'm on YouTube and I'm watching these ghetto videos of like shot callers in the streets living in their projects. And, I could see why African Americans living in the hood are upset that 60,000 Venezuelans have moved into their territory, because those people are now competing for, homeowner taxpayer dollars, aka, handouts. And it's been going on for. Tato, Tato, do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, Brody. I could you say you had me where you been lately? I done ran through a 10, it's crazy. I ain't gonna catch the world, thought you was the one. Like Tracy McGrady, gave you my whole heart, that you gonna have fun, and you start acting crazy. I'm 2 weeks in close, but I'm not Tracy. I can't cap out love different. Fuck up, cause these drugs different. Hey, Jordan, you gonna play devil's advocate? Different.
No, I think Tato should have a YouTube channel if he's not already doing this on YouTube.
Revive about what, baby?
Listen, I can't even get any viewers. I can't even get subscribers. I can't monetize. But if you're in the hood and you're filming hood rats shooting ghetto videos,
What you trying to say, bro? Like, what the fuck?
200 videos, you'll have 300,000 subscribers. I'm telling you, it is about the content.
300,000 subscribers, bitch ass nigga. I got 214,000 subscribers, lame ass nigga.
Well, shit. Do you monetize it?
No, I don't monetize it. Nigga, my manager control my YouTube, nigga.
Oscar, what is going on?
We talk about YouTube and rap videos. Don't come in here kicking nobody.
Nobody was talking about YouTube and rap videos.
I mean,
nobody kicked you.
Manville, I mean, are you not like part of the culture itself, Manville? I mean, you enforce the law in these areas, Manville.
They're talking about police brutality.
I am the law. I am the law.
Are you actually, Manville? Are you actually Judge Dredd?
I don't know what Oscar doing. He's got one on me.
I love Judge Dredd.
That's a great movie, isn't it? Wesley Snipes is the shit. That is a great movie. Oh wait, no, that's not. Is that no? That's not.
That's not Judge Dredd. That's fucking U.S. Marshals.
No. What was the one where Wesley Snipes? They have him frozen. They bring him back to with
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Yeah, with Stallone. Yeah.
That was a dope movie. I like that movie.
You don't know about the 3 seashells?
Yeah, I love that. That's a fucking dope movie. Have you seen him now? He was endorsing Trump recently. His hair plugs are to the max. He has had a facelift. His eyebrows are permanently lifted. That could be the Botox. But, he's a really big social media influencer with his daughters who are fine as all hell. And talk about somebody, who is making movies and videos and films 8 hours a day. I mean, he's he's like the Kardashians, essentially. That's what he's pulled off. He has his own little Kardashian business, but the Kardashians are the queens of, every one of them is a billionaire now. It's unfucking believable. And their power and their influence will not wane because of Meta, because of Google, because of Microsoft. Giant fat asses and photoshopped videos and pictures. These bitches, when they're 80, they'll be looking 39. Because look what they did with Robert De Niro. You know, in that movie with the Teamsters, you know, they made Robert De Niro look young in the whole movie. Like that's, and people went out and saw that shit because it was a Scorsese mafia film. So Mike, you know, I'm gonna like change up my live streaming here on Clubhouse, and I'm gonna try to like capture the biggest rooms, you know, 10 hours a day for 30 days across new accounts, and try to like rebrand it, because I cannot get subscribers, I cannot get views. I mean, Hampton Spears can post a video about, you know, 5 black chicks beating each other up and get like 100,000 views immediately. So, you know, nobody cares what people are saying on Clown House, or the algorithm will not reward me for anything on this app. So I don't know. I'm going to try to like continue to experiment with it, but.
Well, I mean, if the founders of this thing can't like figure out a way to make it have any value, then I doubt you'll be able to do it on your own.
Dude, they've already cashed out, and they already sell the data to the biggest real-time bidding exchanges. They're monetizing this. And you know why? Because they've got the relationships. But there's really no real good commercial value in here. It does pose some type of a surveillance capital future, you know, financial monetization. Because, you know, a lot of my profiles and all my content are on here. But the thing is, nobody's going to go back and look at profiles and play and replay rooms from years ago. So this app really is like alive because it has, you know, a bank account. And whatever they're doing, they're keeping it afloat. But as you'll notice, there are no new party hats. Nobody new ever comes to it.
The problem is the same fucking people every single day.
Yep.
Even if you did find the possibility of gathering something important from it, you would have to believe in the importance of the people that are here who are speaking in the first place. And you're not getting a mix of new ideas. You're getting the same fucking people that come in the same fucking rooms and say the same fucking thing.
Well,
I stopped talking, to be honest with you. I stopped talking. I just sit at the bottom. I use it as background like noise because I'm ADHD and I enjoy having background noise in my head while I'm working. But and I like to listen to people's conversations. Like in the old days, if I could have like sat on the phone as a third party and listened to 2 people talk to each other on the phone, I would have enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So it just feels like that. In fact, when I get in a room where 2 people are just talking and I don't have 14 other people busting in and re-distracting the conversation to something stupid just to make a point and hear themselves speak, that's even better. So like small rooms with a couple people having a conversation, I'll listen to that for fucking hours.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that, to me, I mean, you may say you have, you know, ADHD, but to me, when I listen to people and I'm being a voyeur, I want to still jump into that conversation, and so the problem is I can't stop thinking.
They realize they don't give a fuck what I have to say.
Well,
nobody here gives a fuck what anyone has to say.
What I'm saying is it's too distracting. It's too distracting to want to jump into a conversation because then.
No. I've gotten past that point, man. In fact, it helps me. It helps me kind of like. I mean, when I can moderate my emotion better when I'm being silent during it. I have a harder time moderating it when I'm speaking.
Well, because
so I enjoy it. I enjoy sitting and just listening. I was listening today, and I figure out things. I solve problems that these people they go back and forth about something, and I figure out why they're fighting over it. I can understand it. I get what they're both saying. I can see both sides of it all day long.
But you claim, but are you?
What's going on, and they don't.
But are you making a? But are you making a claim that you're doing work in the real world while you're listening to people having these convos?
Oh, I do all day long. I have a headset. I have one of those Jabra things, those Jabo things, where I can hear the real world, and it just plays like
that's what I'm doing
on my awareness. Here's an example, Jay. So today I was in a room listening to these black people. It was a black person room, and they were bashing Jews, and then some Jewish people came in, our typical Normo and whatever.
That was this long, Mike.
Ronan. Yeah, came in and started like defending, Israelis and Zionists, and then the black people said, "Oh, you don't know, you guys are evil," and went back and forth. And really, what they were actually arguing about was this idea that both of them have sympathy for the fact that kids shouldn't die, like innocent
Yeah, but Mike, hold on. I gotta say that it's not just because they're in a shitty situation. It's because they're psychotic, hyper-religious, insane people, murderous, and really just totally suicidal.
The other side, here's what I noticed. So let me stick with me. Hang on for a second, because I listened to this for like hours. Every time somebody says something like the Israel's responding because of October 11th or 7th, and if October 7th hadn't happened, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. The next person goes back in time, and they say, oh, but you can't do October 11th, you got to do 1943 when the Israeli did this to them. So they keep going back in time to justify why it's okay today to kill innocent people. So both sides are willing to kill innocent people, as long as you go back far enough to blame the other side first. But what's really fucking dumb about the whole thing is that it really comes down to the fact that the Palestinians are fucking miserable, and you can blame two different things. You can blame Hamas, their own leadership. You can blame their own inability to put people in charge of themselves, to vote, to allow their inability to allow somebody reasonable to lead them. Therefore, they can't have their own space because they won't lead it properly. They'll have their own space and act like a bunch of fucking savages. Or you can blame the Israelis for saying, oh, but you guys, you pushed them down so hard that they have no chance.
Mike, did you vote for Donald Trump? Mike, did you vote for Donald Trump?
I did not, no.
Okay, so your fault that he's in power, because you didn't have it.
No, hang on. This can go on all fucking day long.
Let me finish.
It's my fault because I didn't vote for him. No, I voted for the other side. It's not my fault.
Let me finish. So, since it's the case that you're blaming the Palestinians for their leadership, I'm going to blame you for your leadership. You are the problem, and you're the reason why.
I get it. My country, I get it, concrete, but you know what? This is not just my opinion of my leadership. My leadership functions effectively. Effective enough. I actually don't live in misery. And I'm the first to admit, concrete, I don't live like the Palestinians in America. Therefore, my leadership is acceptable whether or not I like who's in charge. That's not what they got going on. What they got going on is a bunch of fucking murdering, bigoted assholes who don't give a fuck about them or them.
That doesn't happen in America. Why do you think you don't?
No, it doesn't happen in America. No, not to the point where I'm living in a concrete structure with a dirt floor and with no fucking food. Nope, doesn't do that. I got plenty. I got amenities. I have running water. I have electricity. Looks like my country works okay.
Mike, all you're saying is that your prison cell looks different than their prison cell. You are still feeling
prison cell is livable. Their prison cell is not in concrete. If you're gonna concrete, honestly, listen, dude.
Why are you so excited?
You're seriously gonna compare.
You're not gonna let me go.
Compare the living environment in America to the living environment in fucking Gaza. You're really gonna go there because that's just the stupidest argument ever, dude.
Yeah, Mike.
I thought you were smarter than this. That's fucking retarded.
Mike, you're obviously not understanding the point.
I do understand your point completely, but your point is it's not valid. It's not, you're being disingenuous. It's fucking retarded. My day-to-day existence in America is completely different than the day-to-day existence of people in Gaza who put Hamas, who live under Hamas. They're not even fucking
Okay,
you're going to try to compare the American government and leadership and president to their leadership and government.
Mike, let me